Hi folks, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you haven't been before. My name is Watto and I wander about. Today I'm on a little wander in a place called Saul, or Saul Junction to be precise. This is where the Gloucester Sharpness canal crosses the Stroudwater canal, or vice versa. And it's a very important little place in the history of our local canals, so we're going to have a little look, see what we can find out. Well, being owned by two separate independent companies, you've got the Stroudwater Canal, or Stroudwater Navigation, that cuts across the Gloucester Sharpness canal, runs all the way from Gloucester down to Sharpness docks. And around about 1820, just to make the junction, they had to raise the level of the Stroudwater Canal by about 5 feet. And that is what is behind me, is the lock that was created. So that's the Gloucester and Sharpness canal running left to right, and the Stroudwater canal comes straight down in front of us. And we've gone through this lock off out towards Upper Framalode, which is where you would connect with the River Severn. Well, that's what's left of the navigable bit of the canal that comes from Upper Framalode up towards where we are now. If I swing around, that's the lock. It's about to come up the Severn through this lock, and you can either then travel up to Gloucester or down to Sharpness where the big docks are, or carry on straight up there, up the Stroud Navigation, which ultimately linked up with the Thames and Severn Canal and take you all the way up to where the Thames is, obviously. So you could make your journey from here. I'll just take you over here and have a look at the River Froome, because it's quite important. And it's one of the reasons why the canal is here in the first place, because boats couldn't navigate up the Froome, so the canal was built. There's also levelling weirs all the way along, which helped keep the level of the canal. So behind me, that is the Froome, which runs pretty much parallel with the Stroudwater Canal and ultimately the Thames and Severn Canal all the way along. Here's a nice walk all the way along the River Froome, which we'll do at some point when it's a bit less muddy, because it is proper muddy today. And that then takes you all the way up to the River Severn, out to Upper Framalode. It's a very popular spot, Saul Junction, especially in the summer. So you've got a nice little visitor centre, which we're going to have a look at in a minute, and you've got a nice big car park, there's a cafe. People can just sit and while away the hours or have a wander up and down the canals. There's also a boat club, get a lot of rowers, scullers, whatever you want to call them, and make use of the canal, which is good. It's also a really good spot for a bit of fishing. I've fished it many a time with my dad.
Hello, Dad.
Very popular with pike anglers down here. That's a really good spot. It's not a bad day today. It's a bit overcast, although there's some bright sun that shoots through now and again, so if the footage is a bit dodgy, I do apologise. Well, there's a crane just over there which still services the dry dock, where you can have your boat serviced or repairs or repainted, whatever. It's still working. It's been there since the 1800s. There's also a really big marina here as well, which we'll have a look at in a minute. Get some better shots of. Very interesting boat behind me on the other bank there. It's almost set up like an old galleon type affair. Very nice. Just walking up this bit, coming up towards the visitor centre now. It's not open at the moment because, as usual, I'm out early. Just been talking to a couple of lads down there that are fishing after perch and pike. Nothing taken just yet, but like all fishermen, they remain hopeful. Well, a peaceful little walk so far. Not many people about. A few people on the boats just getting up and about. Very nice. It's the visitor centre and the canal shop, and there's also toilets and showers here for the people that live on the barges. Or indeed tourists, because you can hire boats from here in the warmer months. Go off and people have holidays on them, and you can hire them from here. Just see a bit of the marina there, if I can lift you up and show you. Quite a big extensive marina and holds surprisingly a lot of boats. We'll have a bit of a look at it when we work our way back round. Just coming up on Sandfield Bridge now. Some cars coming in. There's an interesting story about that which I'll tell you in a minute. Across Sandfield Bridge, looking downstream if you were towards Frampton, and then from there on all the way down to Sharpness docks and out into the River Severn estuary. Then you come back round this way, back facing towards the junction again and upstream towards Gloucester docks. There's a nice stables cafe there where you get a nice bit of food, cup of tea, something to eat. Very popular in the summer. I'll tell you a quick story about Sandfield Bridge. So I mentioned earlier these are two independently owned canals, or they were back in the 1800s. You had the Gloucester Sharpness Canal Company and the Stroudwater Canal Company. They didn't always see eye to eye. So back in 1880, the engineer from the Gloucester Company managed to persuade the local postman to deliver all the letters for the Stroudwater Company official, who used to live at the bridge house, which we'll have a look at in a minute, to Sandfield Bridge. Try and intercept it, and information on tolls and what have you. A bit of industrial espionage went on. It's a bit naughty. That's how the rivalry between them was. Let's take a little walk back down from Sandfield Bridge down towards the junction itself, and this basin, what they call a canal basin, is quite often used to offload cargoes or tranship cargoes that come from one ship to another. And it was quite a busy, bustling port really originally. Like I said, now it's more about people coming and enjoying the canal and having days out, more for leisure craft really. Just in front of the boat club here, which is run and maintained by a local college, the Wycliffe College. Get a lot of rowers out of here. And there's your view up towards Gloucester. Just wanted to quickly show you this bit. This is the weir where the River Frome runs off into the distance there. You could probably just about see it. And this here is a levelling weir from the canal. Helps keep the levels, maintain the levels correctly. So a canal, in theory, can never overflow or flood. And back across here, you've got a gate system or a sluice gate system here, I'm guessing, which helps to regulate the levels. Well, that rather impressive house behind me, the bridge house, was actually where the officials would be, or the official would live, who'd control the bridges and opening the bridges and locks and what have you. And on the side of it, which I'll take you around and show you in a minute, would be a little office where he sat, and he took his tolls, various tolls. I believe there was a toll in place for people that weren't going to navigate the whole of the Stroudwater Canal. There were tolls in place for various reasons. But I'll show you that in a second. There's a nice little information board here. It very kindly just gives a little bit of info. There's even a picture there of a old style boat which they used to call the Severn Trow, which would come up the Severn and along the Stroud navigation. Let's head back across the bridge across the Gloucester Sharpness canal, and we'll wander up the little arm of what's left of the navigable bit of the Stroudwater canal past the Junction Bridge house. See if we can see the little office on the side where the official would have sat. There we are, so that's the house and that's the office on the side. Take a little walk back up this arm of the Stroudwater canal. So one of the bridges is open at the moment where a boat's just come out. That's the Gloucester Sharpness canal there, and it runs across here. Does always intrigue me that there's even a lifeboat here. Safety first, I suppose. Well, hopefully those few shots I've took from above there with the drone just illustrates the size of this marina here, really, and how many of these barges are here now as pleasure craft, and I should imagine some of them are still working, but you can imagine back in the day what it was like as a bustling junction where boatmen were taking wares this way along the Stroud Canal to connect with the Thames and Severn Canal to connect with the Thames River, off up into London and what have you, I should imagine, or up and down the Gloucester Sharpness canal. That's the entrance to the marina. It's quite narrow, but then they are narrow boats. Plenty of facilities all the way along this way, and obviously back over towards that way, as I said, is where the dry dock is, and you get all the maintenance of the boats done all over there. Pretty amazing to see how many are actually in there. Really nice just to see all the different types of boats and how they are painted and kept preserved well. Everybody that owns a boat is obviously very proud of them. Some boats over there, I think they're some of the ones you can hire. Well, they are, because it says on the side you can hire them for a day and have a little cruise around, come out of the Stroud Canal and up the Gloucester Sharpness Canal for a little bit, and then ultimately come back. A nice way to spend a day in the summer. And this, unfortunately, is as far as the navigable section of the Stroudwater Canal goes at the moment. Comes up from there and you hit this bridge, which isn't big enough to get a boat under at the moment, and goes off under there. I think I mentioned in another video a couple of weeks back where this is where I came for a little walk with my dad.
Hello, Dad.
And a short flight. But there is a lot of money being put into restoring this canal and hopefully making it navigable all the way through to connect with Stonehouse, Stroud, and ultimately up past Thrupp onto the Thames and Severn Canal. Well, hope you've enjoyed that little wander along the Stroudwater Canal and Saul Junction and a little bit of the Gloucester Canal. If you have enjoyed it, give us a thumbs up, drop a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll see you on the next one.